Okay, one more piece that I want to talk about today. I want to talk about this equation. Kind of unique. So where did this equation come from? Well, I see that radical in there. I'm going to kind of work backwards to show you where this came from. So if I were to square both sides, I'd get y squared equals 25 minus x squared. That's looking kind of familiar to me with our conics because I've got x squared and I've got y squared. So I'm going to add x squared to both sides because I want them on the same side. When I've got both variables squared, I usually want them on the same side of my equal sign. So what happens is I get x squared plus y squared equals 25. And what that is it's a circle with the center at 0, 0 with radius of 5. Okay, so how is this equation in blue that we started with different from that? Well, it's different because if I undo what I just did to show you that we had a circle, if I were to subtract x squared for both sides, that would be okay. But when I take the square root, normally, if we put the square root in, we have to put the plus or minus in there. In this case, to get this blue equation, it's only the positive. And if it's only the positive, what that tells us is we actually end up with only the top half of that circle. We end up with the top half of the circle centered at 0, 0 with a radius of 5. On the other hand, if we had taken the the negative value, we end up with same equation except that we've got this negative out in front instead of the positive. We end up with the bottom half of this circle that was the beginning of this equation, or where this equation came from. Okay, so interesting idea. So this is really how we get the equation for a semicircle, is y equals the square root of radius squared minus x squared. Now this is just a simplified version. This is a circle centered at the origin, centered at 0, 0. That's where we're going to focus right now. But this would be the top half, the top semicircle, and throw a negative in front. Oops, no, I was right. That's good. Would be the bottom half. Okay, real quick. I know I'm throwing this out pretty quick, but I don't want to add too much for videos for you guys for tonight. If I wanted this to not be centered at the origin, I would simply put an h and a k in there, and I would have y minus k, because k goes with our y values, equals, and I can have positive for the top half or negative for the bottom half, square root of r squared minus x minus h goes with our x squared. So this is for the top half of the circle, or the top semicircle of the circle centered at h comma k with radius r. And if I wanted the bottom half, I would simply put a negative in front of my radical. And I would have the bottom half of the circle centered at h comma k.